My name is Michael Cotter. I'm a third-generation farmer from Austin, Minnesota, where the land is flat and the soil's black. And some of those farms have been in the same families for over 100 years, and ours is one of those. This started changing rapidly. Well, it changed in the Great Depression, but it started changing rapidly in the 1960s, and I think it was the introduction of the 100-horsepower tractor. Prior to then, on our farm, we had 20, 30. The biggest tractor on our farm was 50 horse. And then they came with that diesel engine that produced 100 horse. And that was just amazing. And they had to double the wheels to utilize that power. And we started seeing dual wheels for the first time. And then very soon they came with a 200 horse. And there didn't seem to be any limit to the power they could get out of those diesel engines. Well, those big tractors needed big fields. And on our farm, which was a flat farm, a lot of water on it, we started digging drainage ditches. And a drainage ditch is a ditch maybe 10, 12, 14 feet deep, but the water only runs on the bottom 2 or 3 feet in the dry season. But from the edge of that drainage ditch, like spider webs, we put drain tile out into the lower areas, and those low areas and swamps got drained and the fields got large. And that I didn't realize until I started telling this story, that changed our society, because farms started disappearing and some got large and some disappeared. And at that same time, Interstate 90 was built along the edge of our farm, and I said it was to take those farmers to another place. And McDonald's opened their first hamburger store, and I always kind of joked that was to feed those farmers as they were moving on to another life. So the story I want to tell you about is coming along one spring day from along one of those drainage ditches, early in the morning, a four-wheel drive tractor. I was pulling a disc that's maybe 30-some feet wide, and I had a lot to do that day, and the black diesel smoke was rolling from this tractor, and my 8 big tires were turning fast because there was a lot of ground to cover. I was in a hurry. And I'm going along, and all of a sudden in front of me is this little bird, and it's called a killdeer. And they're always there, and there's always a lot of them, and they have a characteristic, a killdeer, that's unique. First of all, their call sounds a little like a killdeer. But the way they protect their nest, which is they like the edge of those ditches where there's little stones brought up from deep in that black soil, those little stones, and they just put their eggs in among those little stones, and you can't tell them from the stones. They look just like them. But the bird protects that nest with drama. She pretends. And I've seen this hundreds of times. Coming along, and there's a nest near the bird, and that's what happened that morning. She started her drama. And first she's in front of me, and her wing is broken. She's dragging a wing, and she's fluttering and trying to lead this big tractor and this big machine off to the side. And I know what she's trying to do, and I know I won't see the eggs. And there's nothing to do but keep going. Pretty soon she's back in front of me again, more dramatic. Both wings are now broken. She's just fluttering, and she's just staying clear of these 8 big tires that are rolling fast. Again, trying to pull me off to the side. And I know there's nothing to do but keep going, because I'll never see the nest. And generally that's as far as it goes. My stories are all about the things that are different than usual. There's a third time. The bird is back for a third time. I don't see her the next time. I hear her. If you can imagine the roar of that diesel engine, and this piercing screech comes into my cab, this screech from this little bird, and I look down and in front of those big tires, and there that bird is standing, and I can see her beak open, screeching as loud as she can screech as these big tires roll toward her. It's like so many things in life. The pretending's over, and she's taking her stand. When I see her, the tires are almost on her. I slam in the clutch, and that engine that's pulling hard, there's this terrific bang as the tractor stops under load. I pull the throttle and I pull the kill switch. And from the roar of that engine that's been in my ears for an hour or more, it becomes so silent. The silence is unbelievable. For the first time, I hear the water running in the drainage ditch. I hear the birds along the ditch bank singing, and I look down, and this bird now standing right in front of those big tires is also silent. And that silence just seems so powerful. Well, now what do? I get out on the deck of that tractor, and I'm a parent at this time. I have young children, and I think I use my parenting voice because there was no one there to make fun of me or ask me why. I said to that bird, "You got to show me where it is. You got to show me your nest." Now, I didn't expect anything to happen. There's quite a moment of hesitation, and then it's like she understood. She moved across the front of my tractor over to the other side, just beyond the dual wheels, and she spread her wings and sat down. As she did that, I saw the eggs. So with the bird sitting right beside my tractor, that engine roared to life. I thought she'd fly now. She had shown me her nest. But she sat there. And of course, with the hydraulic lever, I had to bring this big disc up on its transport wheels. But one of those wheels was lined up right for the nest, and she was sitting there. So with the other hydraulic lever, I folded that big 30-foot disc, and with the cracking and banging, it folded up. And I thought she'd fly, but she sat there. I rolled over the top of her and then set all that machinery back down again. And I opened the throttle, and that black diesel smoke rolled. And pretty soon those 8 big tires were going fast again. As quickly as I could, I looked back. I looked back through that dust, and way in the distance now was that unworked patch of soil and the lone bird sitting there. And I knew then our time together was over. And that's the first story I ever told on stage.